Billy Cunningham, 1233. What a great day to be a normal, God-fearing American. Today's big show is unbelievable, Andy Mack, unbelievable. First of all, we have a pin-up here. All the co-eds and the colleges now have a picture of Dr. Gene Kritsky in their sorority bedrooms. Dr. Gene Kritsky, welcome back to the Bill Cunningham Show.
When you're a scientist who studies cicadas...
The record was 12 interviews in one day.
12
I've done over 230 interviews since March the 13th.
Your 15 minutes of fame comes every 17 years.
Well, I don't know if I'm a star or not, but it's been a rather hectic time. The record was 12 interviews in one day.
Mo wants to know, how can you tell a male from a female cicada?
With the phone lines lit up, Dr. Gene Kritsky takes on the tough questions.
Do cicadas eat small young children?
No.
What about laying eggs in the thighs of Vestal virgins?
No.
On talk radio, even the emergence of an insect can turn political.
When they last emerged in 87, the president was Reagan. And what party was he, Gene?
He's Republican.
Now, in 1970, 17 years before that, who was the president then?
Nixon.
And he was?
Republican.
In 1953, when the cicadas emerged, who was the president in 1953?
Eisenhower.
From biblical curse to vast right-wing conspiracy, the reason behind the appearance of billions of cicadas is constantly subject to reinterpretation. That's why every 17 years, when the cicadas emerge...
You want me to be right here? Like this? Or you want me closer?
So does Dr. Gene Kritsky.
The large numbers of cicadas, we believe, is to overwhelm their predators that are here.
During the current cicada emergence,
You'll see the underside, the color difference.
Dr. Kritsky has been featured on Japanese television, the BBC, a South American network, and literally hundreds of other local, national, and international media outlets. Nearly every interview is an adventure.
What, is something wrong?
Interviewing Dr. Kritsky is like being on one of those reality shows.
And an insect predator, let's say like a
real-life
beetle, for example,
fear
that walks
factor,
before your life
complete
cycle.
with
They can
creeping,
have 4
crawling
generations,
critters.
and then it's the cicadas using time as a survival strategy.
For some reporters, this is as close to being a war correspondent as they will ever get, and it's close enough. For Dr. Kritsky,
Well, I'm giving a lecture and I have a book signing tonight from 5 until whenever.
it's a dizzying ride on the newsmaker merry-go-round.
What's your deadline?
The cicadas have become Gene Kritsky's partners in trying to introduce a little science to a mass audience. So far, Dr. Kritsky figures he's told the cicada story to about 130 million people worldwide.
Well, it's really cool because it does 2 things. One, it turns people on to an insect. It helps them understand a little bit about natural history. It does a lot of good for the college because, you know, we're a small liberal arts college in western Cincinnati, and more people will have heard about Mount St. Joe this year with cicadas than will have heard about Mount St. Joe in our entire 80-year history.
The cicadas serve as a sort of time capsule revealing American history and culture. Simply by remembering the previous emergence, social observers can document changes in the way Americans get their news and information.
It wasn't this intense in '87. In '87, we were I was in U.S. News, USA Today. I did the ABC Evening News that time. They rebroadcast that on Good Morning America. I did CNN Science News in '87. But the competition by the media was not as intense as in '87 it is now. Those are the emails that came in on May the 12th. Now,
during the 1987 emergence,
Greenbelt, Maryland, Frederick, Maryland, Falls Church, Virginia, Cincinnati,
there was no network of
Ashburn,
internet
Virginia.
cicada correspondence.
17 years ago, I did it with an answering machine, and I received approximately 675 phone calls. I don't recall the exact number because a number of them were just, you must be nuts.
Today, Dr. Kritsky receives as many as 300 emails each day from people reporting where the cicadas are emerging.
Here's one from
The result is a more detailed and accurate picture of the emergence.
Maryland. This one's from Camden, Ohio. What do we say about this thing? I have heavy. I've even managed to find a blue-eyed one. And they sent a photograph of their blue-eyed cicada.
Every downloaded image adds to a growing database of cicada knowledge for a public that can't seem to get enough.
I turn the evening over to Dr. Kritsky.
They come out in incredible numbers to satiate their predators.
It's a packed house for Dr. Gene Kritsky's lecture on cicadas and how each emergence marks a changing society.
Johnny Carson was doing the Tonight Show. Ronald Reagan was president. You know, when you listen to the cicada songs, you wonder what they're saying. They may be saying, where did Johnny go?
Dr. Kritsky hopes his audience takes away a sense of appreciation for cicadas, perhaps even admiration.
Treat the cicadas as what they are. They're as special to Cincinnati as Grater's Ice Cream, Skyline Chili, and the Cincinnati Reds. They're our own periodical cicadas of Brood 10, and we're going to be back in 2021. I'll see you then. Thank you.
After the lecture,
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, how are you? And what is
a man whose job is studying bugs signs copies of his latest book,
This one's to you as well?
a local bestseller about the life and lifestyle of the 17-year cicada.
Thank you, ma'am.
Do you want it signed to anybody in particular?
You could sign it to me, Pamela.
Between book signings, lectures, talk show appearances, and TV interviews, Gene Kritsky still manages to get into the field to document the cicada emergence. But with public and media interest so intense, scientific study requires a new strategy.
The day I did 12 interviews, I scheduled half the interviews in different places around the city so that I was able to accomplish two things. See how heavy the infestation was at a certain spot, talk to the media at the same time.
In fact, the city of Cincinnati sees Dr. Kritsky as a one-man public relations department.
He's a popular guy, and I think that we're lucky because he's not just a great scientific expert, but a fantastic celebrity. He does really well with all the press. He's got a great humorous side to him, and he can tell tons of stories.
Right here, that's the egg nest from 17 years ago.
Oh, we're blessed. It's funny because I think for 16 years probably, he might get a few jokes here. You know, it's Gene Kritsky, the bug guy. He's got a bunch of cicadas and formaldehyde in his office, but on that 17th year, he's the most popular guy in the nation.
Excuse me for a second. I'm expecting that other film crew here any moment, and that might be them. Kritsky.
When your license plate reads cicadas, you know that every 17 years the world comes to you.
Yeah, tell her you want to film the lecture, that I've given you permission, and you want to get press credentials to do that.
For Dr. Gene Kritsky, the cicadas are the true celebrities, but he's happy to be in a position to be the one who tells their story.
I happen to be in the middle of one of the big epicenters of this emergence.
About a month after emerging, the cicadas will die, and so will most of the interest, at least until the next 17-year emergence of Dr. Gene Kritsky.
Yeah, I'll be 67 the next time this happens. I'll be venerable. And when I'll be 84 the next time after that, and I probably won't care.
17 years, has it been that long?
When World Report continues, the cicadas aren't the only ones singing as a city tries to turn big bugs into big bucks.